Hello, my name is Loudon Suggs, and this is my group leading report for Liberty University's Human Services Counseling 511 Group Dynamics course. I devised the Helping Warriors group specifically for this assignment with the aim of providing first responders, meaning law enforcement, fire and rescue workers, and members of emergency medical services an opportunity to talk warrior to warrior in hopes that they would gain emotional and spiritual strength through discussing the strains, stress, and fears they encounter on a day-to-day basis in an understanding, non-judgmental environment. These helping warriors operate under a high level of stress and continually witness crisis, trauma, and inhumanity, a fact that was tragically demonstrated this past Sunday in Las Vegas, Nevada. I make this observation not merely as an outside observer, but as a former member of their ranks. While there are similar groups to this one, they are generally separated by departmental and organizational identities. And based on my research, there are no other groups of this kind in my local or immediate surrounding area. This group met last Friday, September 29th, 2017 at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. here at the Veterans Center of the Xander Guy building on Cape Fear Community College's Surf City campus, which is where I currently work. I pre-screened this open and voluntary group and had hoped for at least 11 members, but 3 of my proposed members had to work, and one other member who had come to the meeting was called away while I was providing the group expectations, which is understandable since he is a detective. But I still had 7 members in attendance for the full duration of the meeting, made up of 4 friends and former coworkers and 3 members of local and surrounding departments. The members ranged in age from 27 to 65 years old and 6 to 38 years of experience. They included 2 members of law enforcement comprised of 1 white female, age 27, and 1 Latino male, age 38, 2 firefighters comprised of 1 white male, age 55, and 1 African American male, age 38, and 3 members of emergency medical services comprised of 2 white males, ages 36 and 65, and 1 African American female, age 30. There were no specific materials or supplies that I required for this meeting outside of appropriate seating. However, I did provide coffee, sweet tea, bottled water, as well as apples, bananas, and a variety pack of the mini muffin snack packs. At 2 p.m., I opened the meeting by introducing myself and explaining the group expectations. I also informed the members that while I was the group leader there to guide the flow of information, I was also part of its membership, and that just like our various professional interactions with the public, all matters shared and discussed in group were protected by confidentiality, and that what happens or is said in group stays in group, less the information that I required to complete this report, which was very limited. I explained that while I could not make them, all members were expected to contribute to the session, and I expressed my understanding that due to the underlying alpha nature of the group's membership, particularly that of law enforcement and firefighters, and how having them adhere to the group's expectations of opening up and allowing themselves to be vulnerable and receptive to colleagues and members of outside departments' observations may be a little difficult for some of them. Then I went into the reasoning in developing the Helping Warriors group. It was to provide the helping service for first responders who share the purpose to serve, protect, preserve, and sustain the lives of their fellow human beings at great personal cost to themselves and their families. And while having a strong family support system at home is essential for them to succeed in their calling, there are simply things that they experience that exceed the understanding or comprehension of those who have not seen what they see and faced the darkest parts of humanity. I then formally stated the group's goal and purpose, was to have members share their fears, difficulties, emotional strains, and stress, and they encountered on a daily basis in an understanding, non-judgmental, and open environment, in hopes of gaining emotional and spiritual strength inside of one's and insight from one another's thoughts through honest communication and interaction. Then requesting that each member provide a simple introduction to include their first name, age, profession, and years of experience. At 2:15, or approximately, I opened the discussion asking the members to talk about fear as it relates to their chosen profession, their greatest fear, and to share how they face their fear in the line of duty. It encouraged members to link and respond to the fears of other members of the group they identified with and to use active and empathetic listening before responding. Throughout the session, the group stayed engaged, enthusiastic, and supportive of one another, and keeping them focused and on task required very little effort on my behalf, though I did have to cut off and redirect our oldest member, who began to ramble for a couple of times. But other than that, I was able to reflect, clarify, and summarize effectively, and shift and deepen focus when needed to keep the discussion flowing. The group lasted approximately an hour and 5 minutes. And at 3:20, I closed the discussion and asked the members for feedback to determine if they felt the group was helpful, and if so, if they felt it was worth continuing this group. In assessing myself, leading this group, I have to say I was fortunate. My biggest challenge was that while I was leading the group, I was also among friends and former coworkers and supervisors. And I had a few moments where I felt a little nervous and out of my depth, particularly when I had to cut off our oldest member, Mac, twice, because he has like 38 years of experience in all three areas. And so it was a little like sitting in a group talking about creative writing with Mark Twain and having to redirect Mark Twain on writing. Overall, I think I did okay, and based on the feedback of the group that the group gave me, I will be planning to continue the group in the future, opening it to all helping warriors who might benefit from it, and we'll schedule future meetings to be held weekly on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 2:30 to 4 p.m. What I would change most is my nervousness in leading the group. I have led groups before, and I think my existing relationship with many of the members contributed to my nervousness and apprehension in sitting in the new role as a counselor / leader and not a fellow first responder. In closing, my hope for this group was that it would be found to have both worth and merit as a helping resource for helping warriors. And based on the support I received from this group, I was successful. Their feedback has provided me with the encouragement I need to better develop the Helping Warriors group from this experimental concept into hopefully a fixed entity into the community. And I look forward to doing so. But because I am not a martyr, I will be waiting to officially start the group after I've completed my master's program. I thank you for your time and attention. Again, my name is Loudon Suggs, and this concludes my group leading report for Liberty University's Human Services Counseling 511 Group Dynamics course. I wish you big hope, mad love, and many blessings.